It's the government. I say the government. Just keeping it going, that's all.
I thought it was the government for the people.
Yeah, it's for the people, all right.
Which people?
The rich people. Because their material, everything is being made by big manufacturers. And they're making a profit.
Oh yeah, well I got hit by a piece of General Motors shrapnel, from an 81 mortar. They dug it out of my leg and it said GM and it had the numbers on it and everything, So General Motors is making mortars, man. That's what else can I tell you? They're making money, that's what it's all about. Like they're supposed to be making cars.
I'm saying if our government didn't spend so much money on other nations, giving them aid, giving them everything we have, we'd be better off because we could spend our money on poverty. We could clean up the cities.
The silent majority, they got too many things on their mind. Paying their taxes, seeing that their kids are all right, not in trouble. They work real hard. Maybe their wives are working too. And just trying to stay out of trouble and doing the right thing every day, day in and day out.
Well, if there's anything, to me, that's a silent majority, it's a community like this. This is what the United States is. The people who have their security tied up in their property, take pride in their property, take pride in their home, and this is what they work for. This is their life.
He's trying to be the silent majority leader, and probably will give him a chance. I'm telling that, I can't. See, nobody's saying nothing. We're all silent majorities here. Nobody wants to get the power.
I think the thing that gets me the maddest is when I hear an announcer say on TV, he says, only 68 of our men were killed this week. What do they mean, 68? That's 68 families that are torn to pieces because their boys got hit. Or we just had 1,000 or 1,100 of our boys that were injured. What do they mean by injured? An arm or a leg or an eye? Doesn't that count?
Actually, the war hasn't affected my job, but I have children that are 19 years old, boys, 19, 18, and I'm deadly against it. I've just read Look magazine, and I read an article in there about a letter to the president. And if a lot of people would look at these pictures of these poor guys that only got half a body or something, or still there, it'd be really something. Maybe they ought to go over there and personally and take a look at some of this stuff.
I've had guys, say to me, if I had a gun or if I had a hand, I'd blow my brains off. But he says, I can't even pull the trigger.
You were there. You got wounded 3 times, twice or whatever it was.
Last time I got hit in the head. We had 57 killed and 140 wounded. And my whole platoon was completely wiped out except for about 3 or 4 guys, And it's it's really strange. I went down to Indiana for my buddy's funeral, because he was a real good friend of mine. And it's really to see it, what the people really go through, when their son gets killed, especially a favorite son, like he was the only son in the family.
I went to a war. I didn't get killed. I'm back here. He was in a war. He didn't get killed.
And it's not like a war where, World War II, where we won and that was it and it's all over. Now, how do you think we're ever going to disinvolve ourselves from Vietnam?
Winning.
Yeah, but you can't win a war like that.
Who's paying for the war?
We are.
We are.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
For what?
That's right, for what?
For what? Yeah, for what? For what?
Communism should be stopped somewhere, and it might as well be in Vietnam, because first thing you know, communist China would love to get down into the Pacific. They don't have enough room for their people as it is, and they would just take over everything if they don't stop them in Asia.
I don't know.
And every war that they say we fight to stop communism, it doesn't seem right because, after all, Russia hasn't lost a man. And look what we've lost.
I feel that there are children born in Vietnam that have now grown to manhood and have never known anything but war. And I feel those people over there must be sick and tired of war, and I think they're entitled to a time for peace.
I have heard it said that some of the boys come back and they say, those people don't even want us there. So that makes you wonder, doesn't it?
A lot of them were glad we were there. A lot of them hated me. Most of them thought that if you were an American, you owed them something. And I think we do owe them something. We owe them the right to live.
So if they had their way, I think that a lot of those people are peasant people. They're ignorant. They're going to go the way that the country offers them the most.
Yeah.
So perhaps they would go communistic.
That would be their
But,
choice, though, would it not?
as Jake said, yes, it would be their choice, yes. But we're trying to save them from this.
If we got out tomorrow, do you think that the government's contention that there would be a bloodbath would hold true?
There would not be any bloodbath. The only people that would suffer a bloodbath would be Chu and Key and all these people like that. But they'll never suffer, you see, because when they lose, they're going to take off to Switzerland and live off all the money they've been hoarding away the last 10 years.
If we get out, we're going to eliminate a bloodbath that's going on right now. That's my contention.
Well, I'll tell you, whether I become President Nixon or not, I'd like to end it. I don't know how I do it, but I'd like to. And I wouldn't be dropping atom bombs on the people, because them people aren't to blame for being at that war. That is, they have their forms of government which they believe in the same as we do, and why shouldn't they stick up for their rights, whether they're one side or the other? I'd like to end it. I'd like to get our boys out of there. How I do it, I don't know. I wouldn't want to hurt them, and the same as I don't want ours to be hurt. Okay? As I say, I had a son, he was in Vietnam. He says, Dad, he says, why should I have to go over there? You asked me, he says, you answer that. I said, well, Marty, what do you think? He said, well, it's because I'm an American and a citizen of this country. He says, it's the only reason I go. So
We had something to fight for in World War II. And you had nobody that wouldn't volunteer. Very few wouldn't volunteer.
I wouldn't mind, I don't think, serving my time in the Army for the country, because I think the country's given me a lot of things, and it's given me a chance to go to school. I had to work through school, but it gave me a chance to at least go. But I don't know, I think I'd really sort of worry about going over to Vietnam, because I hate to fight somebody else's war.
When you want to base it back to facts, we were attacked.
It's Pearl Harbor, okay? They came in and like Mike said, some guy punches you in the mouth, you're not going to just let him walk away from you. That's how I feel. I think I'd be in the lines, enlisting. But I really don't think I'd go to Vietnam. I'll be damned if I go. And I think wrong decisions shouldn't have to cost me my life or my legs or my arms or something like that.
if they get out of Vietnam, what do you think is going to happen to your prosperity? It's the wars that put people to work, give them salaries, give them big money. That's why you've got to have these doggone things. You've had World War II, you've had Korea, now you've got this. After this, you're going to go to the East.
What? Every 10 years, this country has to have a war.
What brings employment?
So many people have to die, and it's a dirty shame.
How about Michael talks about the black market there? Or he talks about generals that have, helicopters with chrome runners and stuff like that, and guys that count rifles so they can get promotions.
They count rifles as a dead VC. They count any weapons they captured. They figured they got the weapons, so they might as well consider the VC dead.
It's so obvious that the war is, so many things in the war are fixed around the dollar. Somebody's making money, okay? And I don't want people making money off of me.
Well, that's true. Money is being made left and right, and that's why I think this war is being prolonged.
I've already buried one friend that was killed in Vietnam. I've seen another come back, 50% disability. And there are two people right now that I know who probably end up there.
In Vietnam?
Yeah. Yes, I don't mean to get this nervous about it, but to see somebody come back who's 19, when you don't know what kind of future he's going to have, you kind of wonder, is it all worth it? And, I'm 20 right now, so my whole age group, is likely to end up there.
It's the government. I say the government. Just keeping it going, that's all.
I thought it was the government for the people.
Yeah, it's for the people, right?
Which people?
The rich people. Because their material, everything is being made by big manufacturers. And they're making a profit.
Oh yeah, well I got hit by a piece of General Motors shrapnel, from an 81 mortar. They dug it out of my leg and it said GM and it had the numbers on it and everything, So General Motors is making mortars, man. That's what else can I tell you? They're making money, that's what it's all about. Like they're supposed to be making cars.
I'm saying if our government didn't spend so much money on other nations, giving them aid, giving them everything we have, we'd be better off because we could spend our money on poverty. We could clean up the cities.
Like institutions, hospitals for brain retarded children and muscular dystrophy and everything else. We don't have to. Money spent on war is non-returnable. It's just money that's blown up. A $500 bomb is $500 wasted.
Why do we have to be the policemen of the world? What about our allies, so-called allies? What are they contributing towards it? I'll tell you what, their problem is if they start feeding the people that are hungry in this world, they wouldn't have any of this. Let's face it. Mostly pertains to hunger in the world. That's what creates communism, actually. So if they find a solution to feed them people, they won't have no problems.
You won't have your overcrowded schools. You won't have your poor transportation systems. You won't have children going hungry. All these problems can be solved with the money that we're putting into war effort. They put it to solve the social problems of this country. It would be such an improvement for us, and if the whole world did the same thing, we wouldn't have the problems. If we all tried to solve our own country.
I think you're a little idealistic about believing that, all the problems would be solved. But I mean, I agree with you. I think that money could be used someplace else. It shouldn't be used by, a couple $1,000s to make a bomb and then just blow the bomb up and, knock down some trees. The money could be used here. There's a lot of people that need it. I hope that you get by all the people that take their cut and get down to the people who really need it. I don't know if that's going to work because that's not the American way.
If we're supposed to be the majority.
The silent majority is about to make itself heard, not by shouting obscenities, not with disorderly street demonstrations, waving Viet Cong flags and demanding that America throw in the sponge.
Oh, that's what he says.
What do you think he
But that's not necessarily the truth, is it? Did you find that out here?
No.
Oh, all right. How could he speak for the majority when he doesn't even know who they are? I'll see you.
I think Agnew is purposely going around to keep the country separated and divided. I think that's his purpose, because when people are divided, they fight with each other and they forget about the major issues involved, like you were talking about what we have to do in this country to help the poverty program and the poor people, or housing. Housing has never been taken care of in this country. It's just been side issues. So if we fight among ourselves about Agnew's contention, the way he criticizes certain people, so we keep divided, then we can't really do much with our elected officials, and I think that's the purpose behind it.
Yeah, but you're talking about our vice president doing these things. Now why? Who is he serving?
He's serving as the interest of the party of the people that are running the country. I don't think they want people like the average guy to get together and demand his representatives to make an accounting of what he's doing.
But you're talking about the people who are running the country. But we're the people that are supporting the country. I mean, it just doesn't make sense.
But we really don't have much to say about what's going on.
We support the country and somebody else runs it. Is that it? Is that what you're telling us?
That is exactly it.
I mean, I don't make the policy. Somebody better than us makes the policy. But, or somebody that should be more in the know makes the policy. But I hope they know what they're doing.
We were brought up to never question authority. Isn't that true? People of our age group. And the government was right, and the policeman was right, and the priest was right, and mom and dad were right. The school board was right. Anybody that was in authority knew what was best and how we should think, and they told us how to think.
But I never told my dad he was crazy.
Shouldn't I let my government know that I think they're crazy? I think they are insane, really. This is an insane thing we're doing, to my view.
How we say it.
Well, how should I say it?
In a proper manner.
There's a lot of things I don't like, but I don't go throwing bombs in place. I didn't like school when I was going to school. The teacher's sister over in the school slapped my hand one day, but I didn't go out and throw a bomb in the hallway and blow the school all over the intersection. I just went home and told my father, and then he gave me a couple more whacks.
What can we do so that we can be heard, that the government will hear us? We're the middle class, the so-called, silent majority.
What can you do about it? What do you mean, what can you do about it?
You can do a lot of things.
There's 200 of us.
Like what?
There's 200 of us.
What
can you do
about
it, man?
That's why the younger generation is trying. That's why they're protesting. That's why they're doing all this,
If you want to complain because you don't want to go to war, go vote.
What do you mean go vote?
You want.
Why? What's the reason for voting? What's the idea of voting? If you say there's going to be a war every 10 years, what good is your vote going to do if there's going to be a war every 10 years?
I didn't raise a kid to go 16,000 miles to fight for somebody else, somebody that you probably never see again. And I don't blame them if they don't want to go. But I look at it this way. This is their country. This is the country they were born in. True, they didn't ask to be born here. But it's their government that's in trouble. Do your best to help it.
So many people get it wrong. You have to understand that there's a definite difference between the country and the government. You see, the people in this country aren't fighting a Vietnam War. The government's fighting it.
Well, the government is the people, supposedly, but in this instance it is not.
Anymore, it's not.
No, I agree with you. It is not. Not in this situation, it's not.
Are they going to force all of us to become unruly just because they utterly refuse to listen to us when we have on the white gloves and the lipstick and the nice smile? As a matter of fact, Nixon said he will not listen to us and that he will not be dictated to from the people in the streets. The people in the streets are me.
But we have to have respect for each other's opinion.
We always looked up to the United States as being number one. That means a lot, too. You're going to have to lose lives.
If the people continue to feel like this and the majority rule, then we'll never disinvolve ourselves in NAM. Okay? But if the majority starts to pick up the trend that we have to withdraw from NAM no matter what, then eventually it's going to reach the establishment and this bureaucracy is going to have to come down. It's going to have to come down. It's going to have to represent the people like it's supposed to. Bureaucracy right now is too powerful.
What can we do now here in Garfield Ridge to see that we are represented and that our voice is heard and that it means something? I don't care if I'm just heard and then they say, oh, well, the heck with it. But no one listens to us.
It might sound radical, and everybody's talking about revolution, but I think that the most effective revolution in this country would be a tax revolution.
We read a headline, in 1969 taxes go up 13%. Expect 20% raise in 1970, and we all sit back and accept it. It's been printed in advance.
Well, would you agree with me in saying that the only people who benefit, who can gain anything because of our tax laws, are the very wealthy or the very poor who don't have anything, so they don't pay any taxes? And we support the country,
right,
and yet we have the least to say about it.
We are the silent majority, and I believe that we're becoming vocal, and we really want to do something about it.
But the definition of your silent majority, I don't think agrees or is the same as President Nixon talking about.
That's a myth. That's a myth.
He's not talking about the silent majority you're talking about, right?
No, the majority of people are not going to stay silent. They are becoming, we're beginning to talk.